Hi everyone and welcome back to Caitlin's Corner. Me and Henry are here today to share some new student bullet journal spreads. I've been getting a lot of requests for an updated video in the YouTube comment section and on Instagram, which, side note, if you're not already following me on Instagram, follow me at Caitlin Marie De Silva. Every week on Monday we do hashtag Planner Monday on Instagram stories. That's always a lot of fun and I'm constantly posting photos there, so when I'm not on YouTube, that is definitely the best place to find me. With that being said, let's get into the good stuff. This first spread is a course tracker, and the idea is I would make these 2 pages for each one of my courses to track a variety of things. At the top left I have a section to write the course code, class hours, office hours, the prof's name, their email, the TA's name, and their email. Below here is a section for me to track I wrote assignments, but really this is just any sort of assessment, so it can be just that, an assignment or a test or a quiz. And for each item I have a section to write what grade I got and the weight of that assignment, quiz, test. And then on the top right of the next page I have a section to track for 12 weeks whether I completed my readings, homework, and if a particular week had an assignment due, I also have a section to check that off. Below that is a course specific study tracker where basically I have a section for each month of the semester, and when I complete 1 hour of studying, I will color in a block. To the right is a section for me to write any areas to focus on. So if I'm struggling on a particular week, I will make note of that so that when I'm studying, I know that the material for that week needs more of my attention than other weeks. Moving on to my first 2-page timetable. I don't think I've done a 2-page timetable before. As you guys know, I never fill in my timetable for these kinds of videos because it's a privacy issue. I don't want the whole internet knowing where I am Monday to Friday. However, how this is going to work is I have the time slots 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. on the left. Then to the right, I have a key. So for class, I will be using my Tombow in the color 679. For tutorials, it will be 158. And for work sessions, it will be 026. All products I use to create these spreads will be linked in the description box below. Usually with my timetables, I only put down classes and tutorial time slots, but this time I am changing it up by adding this work session because something I want to do this semester is actually plan out work sessions for each of my courses as if they are a class or a tutorial. By doing it this way, I feel like I can at least try to be better at allocating an equal amount of time to each one of my courses. There's also an area to write each one of your course codes and the location of each course, some weekly to-dos that I want to prioritize, and a little quote that says, "Don't be busy, be productive." Next up, we've got my readings tracker. Once again, I have 12 weeks of class, so I have 12 boxes, and within each box, I have sections for each one of my courses. The top row is to write course 1's readings, the second row is to write course 2's, 3's, 4's, 5's, and there's a little box for me to check mark when I complete the reading. If you're enrolled in courses that are very reading intensive, it might be a good idea to make these blocks take up the entire 2 pages, but I only let them take up about 3/4, just over halfway. I wanted to fit in a quote here that says, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." And then again, another section for me to write readings to review. So if there's a particular reading that was difficult or lengthy, I don't know, if there's something I feel like I need to give another look, I will write it right there, and there's a spot for me to write that for all 5 of my courses. The next 2 pages are really fun as well. On the left, I have an essay checklist. This semester, I will be writing the most essays I've ever had to write for one semester, which is mildly terrifying, but I wanted to make it a little less terrifying by writing out these questions that I want to make sure I answer at each stage of the writing process. So before writing, while writing, and after writing. I think this is really going to come in handy, and this alongside with the essay outline planners that I've shown in the past will hopefully make the writing process really simple. We're going for pain-free here. Speaking of pain-free, on the right I have a survival guide, which is really a fun page, but also I think a necessary page to just remind me things that I can do to relieve stress. Going on an adventure for coffee, yoga, meditation, reading, YouTube videos, essential oils, talking it out with someone. Ideally, by having this page here, I'll hopefully come across it enough for me to remember to do these things, before the stress levels get to cry in the corner while rocking back and forth kind of point, you know? I've never cried in a corner rocking back and forth, but mentally maybe I have. Next up, we've got a budget/spending tracker. On the left, I have a section to write the total budget, and then based on this amount, I will allocate funds to either beauty, clothing, food, and other. And then I decided to break it down one step further for the food category, because food for me mostly consists of groceries, takeout, and coffee. I do live in Toronto, so you know, takeout is something that does happen, coffee is something that does happen, so I want to still be able to do those things because I think that's part of the experience of being in the city, but I also want to make sure I am managing it so I don't go overboard. On the right side of the page is more the spending tracker portion of this spread. For each category, there is an area to write what I spent my money on and how much I spent. At the end of the month, you would take your totals and compare your actual amounts to your budgeted amounts, and then you would also have the data to see, you know, where or what caused you to go over. If I had to take a wild guess, I'm assuming if food were to go over, it would definitely be because of the coffee. Next two pages are a weekly spread, and I have to say this weekly spread is probably in my top 5 favorite weekly spreads I've ever done. I like this one because it's cute, but it's also super useful because I jam-packed it with tons of things. Each day of the week has a section for me to write any big events in the blocks, and then also an area to write to-do lists, which is kind of the way I like to plan. Saturday and Sunday I split up because they're usually not as to-do heavy. On the right page, I managed to fit in a meal planner. This is a mini version of the one I think I showed in my last video. There's a section for writing breakfast, lunch, and dinner for each day of the week. As a student, I really love having a meal planner because with my schedule changing day to day, I find it's easy to forget to eat. So this really makes the process of fueling my body with all the good things a lot simpler. On the right is a section for me to write homework for each of my courses, and again, as I mentioned before, I start off my weekly planning by writing all my homework and then figuring out when I'm actually going to do it. I just find it easier to figure out when I'm going to do something if I know everything that needs to get done for that week. There's a quote here at the bottom that I really love. It says, "Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will." And right next to it is a mini tracker for hydration, meditation, reading, and gratitude. The gratitude section is for me to track that I had filled in my 5-minute journal, which I have discussed on this channel and I want to talk about more. I'll have it linked also down below in case you're interested in checking it out. And the pops of colors you're seeing on this page were done using my Zebra mild liner highlighter. I am in love with these guys. They're just so great. You get the highlighter side, you get the marker side. It's a fun time. These will also be down below. And that, my friends, concludes my updated student bullet journal video. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and the notification bell so you never miss a video here on Caitlin's Corner. I'd love to hear in the comment section below, as always, which page or which spread was your favorite in this video, and if you end up recreating any of these, please tag me on Instagram or Twitter. It honestly makes my morning, day, night when I see one of you has recreated something I've shown on this channel, so please keep them coming. Me and Henry will see you guys soon with a new video, and until then, bye everyone!